Every school has its ghost stories, but there are tales that never see the light of day.
This is about what happened at the school where I was transferred.
As an art teacher who also paints oil paintings as part of my artistic pursuits, I couldn't work on large pieces at home, due to living in a small one-bedroom house. So I often stayed after school to paint in the art room. At my new school, I continued my work in a corner of the art room.
However, I began to notice something strange.
There were marks of small children's hands on the surface of my paintings.
Oil paintings take a very long time to dry, sometimes up to a week. So I thought perhaps someone had touched them without my knowing, didn't pay it much mind.
I simply painted over the handprints and erased them.
But the next day, the child's handprints were there again.
Not just one or two, but the entire surface of my work was covered in them.
Considering the size of the painting, which was a number 100 canvas, this couldn't be just some prank.
That day, as I continued to paint over the handprints, I got engrossed in the climax of my work. It was 9 p.m., then 10, then 11, and before I knew it, it was midnight.
The art room should have been silent, except for the sound of my brush, but at some point I began to hear a crying sound. That wasn't quite like a cat's mewl or a baby's cry.
Opening the window revealed no cats, and of course no baby was present.
As I kept painting, it became clear that
the sound was coming from inside the art room. Focusing on the direction of the crying led me to the electric kiln.
Used for crafts, a container about the size of a large trash bin.
It seemed unused for a long time, possibly out of order. When I opened the lid, it looked like students had been using it as a trash can filled to the brim with crumpled paper. Since I had recently transferred, I hadn't had the time to clean it out and had left it as was. Approaching the kiln cautiously, the crying suddenly stopped. Maybe a student had locked a kitten inside. That would explain the handprints smudged on my paintings if it was a student's prank. Determined to uncover the truth, I opened the kiln and started removing the paper. The sound of paper rustling in the art room was unnerving. Though I removed all the reachable trash, I found no kitten. At the bottom of the kiln were piles of dry sand.
Digging through it with my hands, I felt something solid and pulled it out.
It was a bone. It seemed to be of an animal.
Feeling terrified, I couldn't bear to dig any further and rushed out of the art room.
The next day, I reported the incident to the principal, who sternly told me, "We will handle everything from here. Do not speak of this to anyone."
Later, I heard that before my transfer, there was an art teacher who had resigned after a scandal involving an affair and a pregnancy.
She has been missing since.
What were those tiny handprints and the sound of a baby crying?
How was it? The hidden ghost stories of this school. While reading, some of you might have started to wonder if there's something in your own room as well. I hope you can sleep well tonight. Then, let's meet again in the next scary story. Good night.